Martin often described himself with a simple but powerful phrase.
Made in Germany and designed by China. Hometown foreigner and global citizen. The Germans bring their potato salad.
It has to be potato in there.
Yeah.
And sausages.
Exactly. Remember, like, my mom did spring rolls. And they were like the most popular ones. Übung macht den Meister. Like, practice makes perfect. We went to Chinese school on the weekend to learn in Germany and Hamburg. So we were mad as kids. Like, everybody has Sunday free and we have to go to school. But on hindsight now, it's like very grateful that our parents pushed us and forced us to Chinese school, because now we're cropping the fruits. And this is a great foundation for sure. It was never like either or. Exactly. Wanted to avoid being put into this box. Golden, the song was performed on Oscar on the stage. The K-pop going globally as a mainstream force. I understand both sides, and I think that's why we are also so important as translators. The Chinese teams, they're afraid, or they don't have the connection to the German teams, so they come to you. They come to us to share what's their problem is. This language could be literally language, Vietnamese or German, or the language rituals of insiders, of things only if you're part of the community you know. I always like building bridges. I think this is our job. There is no secret formula, but
Hello, leaders. Welcome to our Power Circles Leading Room, the conversation series with leaders, entrepreneurs, creators from around the world to explore the journeys, the ideas, the moments that shape who we become. And today in the studio, I'm very excited to be having a friend, the perfect example of somebody who prides between spaces, between industries, between geographies, between cultures. One of the things I noticed over the years is that some of our most interesting people in the world, they're the one who live between worlds, between cultures, between industries, between identities. And then they become translators, bridge builders, people who connect different communities, different ideas, and different perspectives. Martin Zhang is a German-born Chinese cultural strategist working at the intersection of global brands, digital pop culture, and fan communities. From helping Borussia Dortmund expand into Asia, to working with brands like Pokémon, Nintendo, and IWC Schaffhausen, Martin has spent his career exploring how global culture is evolving and how communities around sports, gaming, and entertainment are shaping the future. But behind the brands and partnership is also a very personal story about identity, belonging, and what it means to move between East and West. Martin often described himself with a simple but powerful phrase, made in Germany, designed by China. And in today's conversation, we explore the meaning behind that line and what it tells us about culture, fandom, and the communities shaping our world today. Martin, welcome to Empower Circles.
that was a great introduction. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, all well. Last day in Saigon now, leaving tomorrow, but yeah, the best comes at last. Look forward to our discussion today. It's now my second time this year. I'd say for work, my sixth, seventh time already. We have many common friends, right?
Yes.
We have an office here, a team here, local teams. Every time it's very intense, but also very fun times to meet new people, to catch up with new old friends. So yeah, this as well this time.
Yeah. Saigon and Shanghai, what is like the number one similarity and what's the number one difference between the two cities? I've been to Shanghai 3 or 4 times. Yeah. For you, your impression so far of
I think the
Saigon?
international mindset of the people, like we come from different backgrounds, but we have so many similarities again. And I think we attract also similar people.
Nice.
This definitely. And I think I always describe it as a vibrant feeling that the city gives you. City never sleeps. I think many, right? New York says
Like
it
New York
about
as
itself.
well. Yeah.
Shanghai says
My
it.
second home, 11 years there. I love it. Oh.
So that's why you're so comfortable here as well, I think. And also like Shanghai.
Nice. Yeah.
With certain vibes. Yeah, I think this is, common, very common stuff. But also like differences. I do believe like Shanghai might be from the feeling like 5, maybe 10 years ahead in certain aspects, but you can feel how Saigon, how Vietnam is catching up
Yeah.
in lightning speed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Mhm.
It's like I remember like seeing Pudong for the first time, like that whole side the river so developed.
It's like 20 years later, you have the
Yeah.
skyscrapers. Like,
Same. Wild. And then Saigon is having that same moment now, like Tool Team area.
Yeah.
It's like new developments everywhere. So yeah, and you gotta come back every year now.
yeah, I
With,
stay
like,
at
annual trip.
Tiem. My Airbnb is at Tiem.
Hmm.
I think 2024 was first time for work coming in here. And every time I stay there now because that's my home in Saigon.
Yeah.
And you see, new shop, new building, new complex.
Yeah.
It's great to be part of this. Yeah.
Amazing. So I wanna uncover this line that you share in your bio. Design made in Germany, designed by China. When I saw that, I thought it was just so beautifully written. And I wanted to first understand with you, what does that line mean for you?
I think first and
terms of-
foremost, made in Germany. If you think about it,
Yeah.
that's a brand itself already, right? Made in Germany, that
Yes.
means high quality, right?
Nice.
And at the same time, if you think about made in China, that's the connotation is a little more negatively. Made in China means cheap labor, right? Cheap fabric. And this changed. That's why I'm German born Chinese. That's why I try to combine best of both worlds. So it says made in Germany, the best quality manufacturing, etc. And designed by China.
Yeah.
And because also this is up and coming.
Yeah.
I think, just blending this balance. Well,
Yeah. Well, I think China now is so advanced manufacturing works that maybe
exactly.
that line, well, as in like that phrase made in China, which you said that have that connotation that is used to be, well, in your words, negative. I don't think that's true anymore because I lived in the US for 15 years. And the US now is trailing China in some of the robotics and manufacturing already. And Chinese cars are now even more in some of its capacity, more advanced than certain US brands.
For sure.
So let's question that, right?
No,
Well,
I think
question that perspective.
it's a great story. It's a catchy phrase in the first and foremost. Right? That's made in Germany and designed by China. But exactly, this is what we stand for, or what I stand for as well. That this changed. This perception needs to change, definitely.
Yeah.
In so many aspects,
Oh,
if
wow.
you think about automotive, EV, and so on, that China is leading the
Oh
race.
my gosh, so advanced. I was watching these YouTube videos how Chinese cars are like so advanced, and like for the same price you would buy a car in the US, it's like you get so much more with a Chinese car in a very good way.
Yeah.
Like more bang for your buck. I wanted to go back a bit to your upbringing in Germany. You were born and raised in Hamburg.
Correct.
Okay, so you describe yourself as made in Germany, designed by China. When you think about your upbringing, your childhood, and your identity back then and today, and the early years of growing up between cultures, really, what were the moments that shaped that identity for you? Take us back to the moment when you were in school at gymnasium or even earlier than that. Like, at what moment did you become aware of your identity as a German-born Chinese, essentially?
That's a loaded question. Like having
At what age? Yeah, because for me, I grew up with a French stepfather too.
Yeah.
And so for me, identity, like these things are things I think about all the time.
I don't think there's this one particular moment. I can think of as a kids. I mean, if you're children, you get along with people because they have the same hobbies. I like to play football.
Yeah.
So I play with you because I play football. It's not because we don't realize differences of hair color, of skin color whatsoever. But one more I realized, like in primary school, when we had Summerfest, like some stuff, everybody bring your own food or something to share with all the people.
Yeah, nice.
Then I'm speaking very stereotypically, right?
Yeah.
The Germans bring their potato salad. And
It has to be potato in there.
Yeah.
Like sausages.
exactly. And there are levels to it as well. But
Funny. Yeah.
I remember like, my mom did spring rolls. And they were like the most popular ones because I tell you, Hamburg is like rather international. Hamburg's like the second biggest city in Germany. It's a port, right? You have import, export. So, but I remember in my class, 20 people in primary school, I was, I think, the only Chinese one, and maybe there were like 5 BIPOC. by far the most popular dish was the spring rolls. And the other ones had like bread and like cold some stuff, cold cuts and so on. So this is when I realized, oh, there are differences for sure, but in a good aspect.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And my parents, they always tried. I have a little sister as well. Every summer vacation, actually, we traveled to China to get in touch, to stay in touch with our roots, with our grandparents, relatives, and so on. So every year we did that. I think this was also as a kid, I remember. You also grew up trilingual?
Yes, trilingual.
Trilingual,
Yeah,
right?
and then I learned Chinese and Spanish after.
Yes, trilingual.
Well, now it's the sixth language. I'm learning Korean.
Six. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So 6. Yeah.
So I think kids don't struggle with different languages, right? But after one summer, 4 weeks, a month in China, my sister and me, we spoke so much Chinese. We went back to Germany. We forgot to speak German. We thought so.
Yeah, I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe it took us another 2 days, and then it all came back. Like, this was, I think, really grateful also for the parents to push to travel to China all the time, to learn the language. We went to Chinese school on the weekend to learn
in
Chinese.
Germany.
In Germany,
Yeah, wow.
in Hamburg. So we were mad as kids.
that.
We was like,
Yeah, like-
everybody has Sunday free and we have to go to school.
Oh, well.
But on hindsight now, it's like very grateful that our parents pushed us and forced us to Chinese school, because now we're cropping the fruits. And this is a great foundation for sure.
I love that. So your parents already wanted to instill that love for that cultural heritage in you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And different meats,
Yeah.
right? It could be like rituals, festivities, Chinese New
Yeah.
Year, Tet. We don't have
Beautiful.
like in Germany, right? Nobody celebrates this. You don't have holiday, vacation, but we also always made sure, hey, family gathering with friends, with other Chinese friends as well, families getting together, to having at least a little feeling of Chinese New Year, Christmas in a sense, right?
Oh. So then we can embrace all parts of our heritage, and we can have multiple homes and multiple heritages, multiple lives of.
It was never like either or.
Oh, it's and.
It's and. Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Wow. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Beautiful. Nice. Okay.
Right, it resonates. I think
Same.
we discussed last time as well when I was here in January, right? We discussed over the coffee and we just realized, so different but so similar at the same time.
Yeah. Sure. And then, so this question, where is home for you and where are you local? How you answer that now? Because
you're asking a simple question. Home, I would probably call Shanghai now my first response. But I like to ask like where local actually, because everybody likes to hang out with the locals, right? Where do the local food? So I think local. Also, I'm local in Hamburg for sure. These four would be my 2 answers: Hamburg and Shanghai. Both are home. Both are home. Yeah.
Hamburg and Shanghai.
I have family in both cities as well. But my focus or my base, I like to call it a base, is Shanghai.
Next.
Yeah.
Which one's more home, Shanghai or Hamburg now? 2026. I guess.
Shanghai.
Oh, wow.
Because you realize, or I realize,
Nice.
I look forward when I fly back to Shanghai. Right. Usually, I also like the last couple of years, I spent over a month in the summer in Hamburg, also to get a feeling, because at some point I think I want to go back, because I have family, my mom is there, my sister's there, to get a feeling again. But then always like after this month, it's like it's time for Shanghai. I look forward to go back to Shanghai, and in Hamburg it always feels like you don't have enough time. If you visit friends, for sure, same. Like, there's so many people you wanted to meet, catch up with friends, and then you realize I'm just one person. I cannot do like a tour, like a singer. And this one is, Shanghai, I can catch up, meet up with friends. If I'm not now in the town, I'll be back next week, next month. So Shanghai is more home at this moment. Yeah.
Beautiful. What makes it more home? Is it the food? Well, you mentioned the people already. Is it like the food also? For me, Saigon is more home now, because for a while, like New York is like super home because 11 years there.
Yeah.
And so actually when I first came back to Vietnam, in Saigon after being away for 20 years, I didn't feel like this is my home.
Yeah.
Even though I was, I grew up here for 10 years and I was born here in around this area. Like I felt more like a New Yorker coming back to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
I was there throughout my 20s and early 30s, and I had my first job there, my first apartment, my first love, my first heartbreak.
Yeah.
I came out there, like very formative years in my life. Yeah. So thinking about identity, I think it's like, for me, very context based.
Yeah.
Actually, when I'm back in Vietnam,
Is it contact or context?
Context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, when I'm back in Vietnam, like this American and French side of mine become more pronounced.
Funny.
Yeah. And when I'm in France, like my Vietnamese side become more pronounced. I just like miss Vietnamese food so much. I start to go to Vietnamese restaurants there. I would still go to French restaurant, which I love also because my mom also cooked French dishes growing up. But like feel like when I'm in New York, like my other cultures become more pronounced. The culture of the place where
you miss the
not a majority become more pronounced for a while, and now I learned to like integrate all of them together.
Yeah.
But like in my 20s, it was like I was like segment them.
I hear you.
Very
I totally feel you. Yeah. I was also like beginning of 20s. I think in university I had this strong feeling to struggle with this identity actually.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm from Hamburg. Hamburg is like an Asian dimension small city, but it's 1.7 million. Like I said, it's second biggest after Berlin.
Yeah.
And I studied in Bayreuth, small town in the south of Germany, 70,000 people, 15,000 students. Really, really small.
15,000 students in one university?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big uni.
That's one of the bigger universities.
Yeah.
And then in total, like 70,000. So like more than 10%, 20% were students. But I struggled with the city. I was like, I'm from Hamburg. And I'm like, right, this is such a village. And every time when like vacation, first day I left. I was like, this is not, this is
feel like home. Yeah.
Exactly. This is just a student city. It's like university. And then I kind of need, instead of neglection, I'd say, to say, I don't want to be Chinese. Like I'm so much more than just Chinese. Right.
You're German.
I'm German, right? And then, but of course, it says something differently. But I remember when in university, I saw Chinese exchange students. When I saw them, I was like, I don't want to. Because
you're different.
Now or later, also I think in the last year of university, I embraced it. I started embracing it. And then you speak to them and you realize, they also have some international background. They're not like Chinese, which I always wanted to avoid be put into this box.
Yeah, true.
But they're the same.
Yeah.
They're the same. Like me. It took me like 3 years to realize. So it was like a lot of like, I'm from Hamburg, I'm not in Bayreuth. I'm Chinese, but I'm German. And then I studied sports management, Spöko. But I was like, if you think about like a typical sports student, it's like super loud. It's like, like this. And it's like, I'm also more than just this. So I was like trying to find, and as you said, it's like not either or, it's and then connecting all these dots, and just realized I can be Chinese, I can be a sports student, I can be German.
Multi-passionate, multi-hyphenates. Yeah, I can do all.
But this took a while, beginning 20s, it's like university.
Yeah.
And now I'm fully embracing this. Now I'm like, I don't want to say like I'm like chameleon or like a joke, but like I can blend in so perfectly, so easily.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. That's very empowering to hear. Very empowering to hear your perspective because for me, so I grew up with a French stepfather, and the thing is, I spent a lot of my years growing up in Singapore and Vietnam, so around like I have a lot of expat friends who are from Europe and the US and Australia too. I would say 80% of my friends back then growing up were Asian or of Vietnamese descent, essentially. Yeah. So hear your perspective for me is quite profound, and also understanding how you not just process it, but like use that as like a thing that empower you. It's like so amazing to hear.
Embracing and empowering.
Empowering.
That's two very strong words. I think, and everybody should like really use these two. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. Same for real. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's say we travel to a new country, and how can we remind ourselves to tap into that like space in between to be empowered versus being feel smaller? Recently I was going to I had a chance to travel to, like almost 40 countries. I love to travel the world.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I go to a new place and I felt like, oh, like this is a new land. I don't know a lot of people there. And sometimes people would, we all do that. We put people into a box based on the appearance or like first impression. I do that too, by the way. We all do that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think it all starts with curiosity, like curiosity for the person versus stereotypes and judgment. And so when we are entering a space and there's curiosity, it's become a lot easier to just start listening truly versus
Judging directly from the beginning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or
I think that's a good mindset to have like this
the
curious
curiosity.
mind. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's not wanting to judge people due to stereotypes. Sometimes it's also ignorance or like lack of knowledge from our end. We don't know, or some people don't know better. We don't know better. That's why I have to believe what I read in the news, the little news I read about an XYZ topic. So I think that's a good point to put this in a different perspective. To say, I mentioned I think also last time is this question like, oh, where are you from? It's such a short question, but like such a heavy question.
It could be very loaded for the person
loaded.
hearing it or the person asking it.
Yeah, and usually, right? You said it's coming out of curiosity.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, let's just, it's a small talk. I remember like in your university, beginning of 20 years, like beginning of my 20s, I was very rude because I was like, stereotypes, they start with every day. I was like, I'm from Hamburg.
Oh,
What you mean? Like don't I look like Afro, And I said, it's usually, it's just like, hey, conversation starters. No.
yeah.
Because also, I think why this question is so loaded, if it comes from a Western face, it's like, where are you from? But in brackets, like, we are different. I see differences. But while if you ask me as a BIPOC, where are you from, Martin? It's like, oh, we have a similarity ongoing here. It's really like, it's connecting.
Yeah.
While like a Western face would ask, like I said, 80% is just like curiosity. I was overthinking a lot of this topic. So like I said, I had definitely issues with identity.
Yeah, with that question too. Well, I don't think you're overthinking because I think many of us feel the same way. Like I feel that question too, even in Singapore, which is like Asian country.
Melting pot, but you have so many cultures.
Because I was a scholar there. I was like coming from Vietnam, I was a scholarship student.
Yeah.
And people ask me, okay, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Vietnam. I'm a scholar from Vietnam. But also, I'm also French Vietnamese. And like, it's like not just a single thing, right? So like you said, the end thing is empowering.
Yeah.
So anyway, fast forward to today, all the things we went through, for me, it's shaped my empathy. I become more empathetic as a leader, as a host, as a storyteller, as a coach. So now what used to be a source of potential confusion and fear and shrinking, now actually become a source that empower me to become bigger and more authentic and whole. Yeah.
It's amazing.
How's yours?
Same
Experience.
Same. This is like an empathy, I think, is such an important aspect of modern leadership, of new work leadership. Because I think IQ, EQ, they're saying in Chinese, like if you have high IQ, you potentially don't have high EQ. But if you're like a high EQ person, you won't have a low IQ. So this goes hand in hand. I think empathy plays such an important role and more important role in new, I call it new leadership, but this is like leadership in general.
Yeah. Let's talk about your work. I'm very curious. So in your work, you form partnerships, you build fandom communities, creative communities, in the anime, manga, fandom communities, right?
Yeah.
Which is now like so hot. The whole world is being built around, I think, a lot of trends and fandom communities, from Labubu to Pokémon to you name it, right? So I'm very curious, how does a fandom community even form in the first place? Like, do you need to plant seeds? Like, how does that work?
And now it's literally mainstream, right? Netflix.
Yeah.
The Oscar were just yesterday or the day
Yesterday I was
before,
watching
right?
it.
Yeah. 300X, they just won the Oscar
Yeah. So
as best animated movie. And this is like
Nice.
such a big,
yeah, Korean.
yeah.
Yeah, another
Korean
one.
Golden, the song was
Yeah.
performed on Oscar on the stage.
So cool with all the
Yeah, it was like, this is,
I love it.
Right.
Yeah, iconic.
you see the K-pop
Yeah.
going globally as a mainstream force. And I think it's the same idea of community. It doesn't matter if we're talking about community, if you're talking about fandom community, it's always about like the common language. Speaking, you have to find a common
language.
common point. And this language could be literally language, Vietnamese,
Or German or
or
Chinese.
German,
Yeah.
or the language of rituals, of insiders, of things only if you're part of the community, you know. Some if you know moments, you know, or some jokes that I don't have to explain to you. So you only if you're part of this, and you try to create such moments. It's like life experiences, or you have these moments in the anime. And then we watch. I watched anime when I was younger. It's like the Dragon Balls, the Narutos.
I love Naruto and Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Yeah. I played Pokemon for sure, and then it has so much. As a kid, especially, right? Who doesn't want to be a hero? Who doesn't have these everyday struggle?
Even now, not just as good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but this forms you.
Yeah.
And I think especially in low times, this helps you to come out of this low step by step. And now while One Piece is so powerful, Monkey D. Luffy, right? Everybody has this big goal. You have a team, different characters, all have to teamwork to make the dream work. So it's like there's so many parallel, but in a fun way presented in anime.
What was your dream as a kid?
Actually, to become a teacher. I think, and it's also, I had like a very great primary school teacher. She was a little older back then already, a little older, right? A little like grandma vibes, but she was, had a big impact of me. So it doesn't sound like, oh, I want a superhero or I want to become policeman. I want to become a teacher actually as a young kid. Yeah. Yeah. So inspired by people around me.
What would you like to teach?
That's the next big question.
What did you do? What did you want to teach? Yeah.
I liked history. I liked sports a lot, and then German as like language. Yeah, that was probably a mix of these two or three.
Nexus division to a learning community, right? In this space, we can learn from each other. I love to learn German from you, and when you can learn about storytelling and stuff from me and other folks.
I think nowadays, especially like teaching or learning, education is not as how we learned it as we were younger. Like just this teacher on the front, and you just hear and you just know it. But I think it's way more interactive, and it doesn't have to be he's a professor, doctor, or something. That's why I listen to it. It's like hierarchical. Like it's like on eye level now.
Yeah.
Right? It's just exchange, inspire, and then we can inspire each other.
Yes.
Without me being your teacher in an official way. But
right, correct.
There's always someone who's, I don't know, bigger, but like who's more expert on certain aspects. Right? Even if I didn't like you, you have something where I can learn from.
Yep.
And I think with this mindset in mind, at least it's learning race is still ongoing. It's going the whole life.
Yeah. To be insights. It's like over dinner or a podcast conversation, over a podcast conversation. A single insight that you share could change something in me and the way I do things. And I believe networks in a new classroom, learning from each other, is now very important.
And different setups now, right?
Like learning hard skills is still somewhat important. It's still important in certain careers, and it still is for us. And then learning to work with each other, collaborate, share, co-create, share stories. It's going to become even more
important.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the foundation, as I said. This hard skills, but on top of that, this becomes more and more powerful, especially like with AI, tech development. I think this hard space, everybody can catch up to a certain level, but to make that difference, that's 80%. But like to make this certain 20% difference, I think this is then human to human interaction, connection through experiences. And we do have an advantage, or at least a good starting point to excel at it.
When you think about your work, building fandom communities, what does that teach you about building a global community? We'd love to learn from you. So we are building communities around shared values.
Yeah.
We have 8 values, right? Co-elevation, being authentic, being grateful together, celebrate together, and support each other in our growth throughout our lives. When you think about building, let's say, a new community in general, what are the best practices that a community builder out there can learn from that process of building fandom communities?
I
Like
mean,
Pokemon or Labubu.
Yeah. I mean, building these communities is actually really hard, and most of the times the community develop or expands naturally. It's like not with the goal in mind to have this community. We consult brands, especially who wants to be attractive or take place where Gen Z, Gen Alpha is taking place. And I think it's cringe in itself is a cringe word, but I think if brands do it too obnoxious or too obviously, it's not the right way. So I think always the question that we tell brands to ask themselves is like, oh, how can we help the community? Where does this community happen? On which platform? How do they communicate? You want to be naturally integrating, not disturbing it. So you want to enable everything what this community is doing. But if you really start from scratch, I think it's important to have this common understanding and to build this platform where everybody can be themselves in a sense, right? You see running clubs, running community popping up, right? It's a social phenomenon, I think, because like many people don't go there for the running, because the beauty of running is you can do it by yourself. You don't need to have a team, right? If I just need to shoes, I can do it in the early morning, whatever. I'm flexible. I think it's the main beauty of running, but it's also now you can see this trend happening in Bali, here in Vietnam for sure as well, in Shanghai. Running clubs, running social clubs, running social communities. And I think their joint language is sports, participation. How can I be actively part of it? Right? I think this is the big change of community building.
Just a sense of belonging and starting with, I love that. So this has to be big. You just start small and start with a sense of belonging in the community, and that will grow over time. Yeah. Wow.
I think naturally.
It sounds very simple.
Yeah, it sounds very simple, but I think that's why it's also so hard. And it has to grow naturally.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference between marketing to the fans and building something with them.
Yeah.
Right. Because we build the community, right? I love that. So
it's like a dialogue. It's not, brand A says something and then you as a consumer, you as a fan, you have to buy. No, it's like, we have to listen to our community, our fans. I want to do co-created stuff. I want to enable the fans themselves to be active, because they don't want to like just passively consume and, hey, I'm paying money for it. I'm giving you my money, so I want something back.
Yes.
And I think this was like a traditional marketing idea to say, oh, this product is good enough, but now you have so much noise, so many similar products, right? How to stand out. I think I, as a consumer, as a human being, I feel seen. If a brand makes me feel seen, makes me feel, they listen to Martin Zhang. They don't just want to have the money for my pocket, but they really care about my opinion, about my feedback.
Yeah.
This is why I think community-driven brands have this big advantage. My friend in China founded a shoe company, a sports shoe company, a basketball shoe. And they're like, from day one, are like 100% community-driven. So posting models and then asking for feedback. Which colorways do you want? Oh, you have model 1, 2, 3. Which one do you like the most? Why is that? And then they adjust. And because they're such a small startup, right, they had like really fast reaction time and could really, this is the best feedback you can get from the beginning.
I love that. So building something with the community. And you also work with luxury brands like IWC Schaffhausen. How is the process different for a luxury brand to build that sense of community? It can be like, posting about random decisions that to have the community decide on, because as a luxury brand, there's a level of mystique. And like
you don't want to be like a mass product,
correct? You want to be aspirational. You want to be also a bit like, maybe a little bit authoritative on certain ideas, and even a bit standoffish on certain things to attract people in. at the same time, you also want to build community and belonging and a sense of elevation.
I mean, it's a balance for sure for luxury brands. Because some brands are signaling, right? If you think about watches, IWC, Schaffhausen, Rolex, Patek, whatsoever, like it's if you know, you know, right? I think if you see someone with a watch, maybe someone who's not into watches, like, oh yeah, it's a watch. But like if you see and this happens in your mind, there's like the power of brand. Oh, he's wearing AP. So I roughly have an estimation of how much this watch is, and on the secondary market as well. And this is a joint understanding you develop as well.
Yeah.
And I think for luxury brands, that's a balance to strike between, I don't want to be a mass product because I want to have this exclusive
aura. Like an aura. Yeah.
Yeah. So people can, especially luxury brands, I think it's a balance, because at the same time they're also striving to build communities, but in a way more exclusive manner, smaller scale, to give these communities money can buy experiences. So maybe the IWC watch, this is what we did for IWC a couple of years ago, to say your watch is your entry ticket into a members club, right? And this members club will unlock, I mean, airlines do it, right? Brands do it, football clubs do it, sports teams do it. If you're part of this membership club, you have some certain benefits which unlock, which the watch unlocks, basically. And this is something you cannot buy, but you have to buy the watch in order to get into this club. And then you have events, you have maybe a very intimate, exclusive concert of a singer. And if I want to do, for example, Coldplay, it's always sold out. But then because I'm part of the IWC club, I have access to like a very, homey, vibey concert. I think this is something where luxury are tapping exclusive communities.
How do you see sports and music as building a form of cultural diplomacy? Because one of the chapters of your career was to bring a German football club to China, right? Borussia Dortmund. You led the expansion, or you were part of the expansion. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Cool. One of the fascinating chapters of your career was to bring Borussia Dortmund to expand to the China market. In Asia. What was the vision behind bringing a European football club into the Chinese market?
This was years ago. But I think Borussia Dortmund tested the water into 16, 17, when the first team played some friendly match just in China and Japan. The feedback from the fans were like immense, tremendous feedback. And then I think it's for European football clubs in general to expand in their local market, home market. They reach a certain limit, right? You have your home stadiums, your matches, ticketing. You are already one of the most popular clubs in Germany. You have like sponsorships, partners as well, but you can only increase up to a certain percentage. But then this is a completely new platform. If you internationalize, if you go abroad, it's like a blue sea, completely untouched in a sense. And then for this,
Blue ocean.
Yeah, really blue sea, blue ocean, exactly. You know what I mean? As a blue ocean, right? You can tap into, and everything what you do is basically 100% increase.
Yep.
Because it's pioneering work.
Love that.
And it's always like the balance between fans. How can a German football club extract this fan feeling for fans in Asia and China without them having this experience, match day experience in the stadium itself, right? This could be like some social, digital content, of course, partners, commercial partnerships, and then sportive, bringing coaches in, helping the next generation of youth become better football players. Ideally, you have so many talented players that you can send them over to Germany to become the next superstar from Asia, the face of Asia. And I think it's a long game for sure. But this is like the thought process behind it.
Oh wow, that's very insightful. We're lucky to learn about this process from someone like you who's an expert in building fandom communities, especially around cultural ways of engaging, sports, music, fandoms, anime, manga. But yeah,
I think the secret formula, there is no secret formula, but for all the communities, it doesn't matter the categories you just mentioned, either sports, if it's pop culture as they call it, right? Is it for luxury brands, brand communities, and so on? You want to have an engaging community. It's not an audience. Audience is passive. They just listen to you, right? You listen, that's I'm a community. I want to be actively engaged. Because if I partake in someone, if I'm actively engaging in someone, I'm also willing to spend more money. So I think in the long run, these people who are like actively engaging with you as a brand, as an IP and so ever, they have a tighter relationship to you. Yeah. And this is, I think, also sports events, right? I think you see High Rocks, you see pickleball here in Vietnam. It's like, it's all about participation.
It's a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah, you have like a lower entry level. A lot of tennis players, right? They kind of laugh at pickleball. It's like, oh, too easy. But it's such a great tool to engage people, to bring people together.
Yes.
They're playing the same game, speaking the same language, and suddenly pickles by far the most popular sports, I reckon, in Vietnam.
Yeah. Because it's about identity. I think when somebody is embodying or identifying a part of themselves with a movement, it's become beyond just something they do. It's become who they
It's
are.
not me, it's we.
Oh, it's
right?
It's who we are. Yeah.
It's because it's only me, but suddenly I have so many like-minded people. It's like, oh, we're a group.
Yes.
Now in Vietnam, I reckon so. Pickleball is not my sport; it's our nation's sports, and I'm part of this movement. Like, see how big this becomes, and I'm just actually a rather talented pickleball player who plays twice a week. But this is something more inspiring. Suddenly, the story.
I love that. In a community where everyone is learning to do something together, it kind of levels the playing field. Yeah, and which is why when I think about our uni times, where we were back in uni, it's just easy to make friends because everyone's doing something difficult together, learning something new, go through classes, exams, we're all doing the same thing. And so actually that's one beautiful thing about a global school is when you learn something together, everyone's kind of like level the playing field.
That's cool.
Because we're all leveling up together.
Yeah.
And this is sort of like, I felt that I can be real around other students, other friends who are also learning with me.
Yeah.
I don't need to, I could just be myself around them. Yeah. Versus having to impress or validate or, all those. Yeah.
I mean, that's why if you find like a community, doesn't matter which topic it is, I think that's the beauty of it. To say I can be myself, I have like-minded people, and we elevate each other. What else do you want?
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's about belonging and connection and learning. What do you think about a cultural translation, which I know you're very adept at? And I love like having a discussion with you because, we talked about this earlier today, being German-born Chinese and then bringing German brands and European brands to the Chinese and Asian markets. And now what about the other kind of direction? Like, do you also now bring brands from Asia to the US or to Europe, to Western markets too?
Most definitely. Yeah. We always, in simplified, we call it inbound from China perspective. It was like Western brands to China or to Asia, and outbound from China, Asia towards Europe to the West. And lately we were shifting our focus more and more on these Chinese brands that want to go abroad. They want to expand. And I think first and foremost, they're automotive, electric vehicles from China, Chinese brands.
BYD,
the BYDs, right?
There's a Xiaomi of the world, Honor, phones too. Yeah.
As well also here in Southeast Asia,
Nice.
Vietnam, they're also huge, right?
Yep.
And then mobile phone, as you mentioned, the Honors. Honor is one of our main clients in China, and we're helping them to expand to Europe, helping them for the local Chinese market. But of course, they want to expand. I think I always like building bridges. I think this is our job, right? I always had like these two ends, like one is China, one is Germany, just from scratch, from start, basically. And now for me, it's about like finding more peers. Vietnam is like, if we have this bridge, it's beginning, end, and then I'll build more foundation It's like, oh, one might be Vietnam, one might be Singapore, Korea. And I think this bridge becomes more solid then. And it doesn't have to be the long run from A to B, but you have so many stops in between, and these are already wins.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the analogy you just shared about the bridges and like all the
different piers, and then it's all also standing on a more solid foundation. If you have only just two, it's
correct.
Yeah.
Actually, it's one of the principles behind what we do here is we love to do chapters around the world.
Yeah.
So this spring we have salons and dinners in Saigon, and this summer we'll be in Europe.
Cool.
So hopefully we can, make it happen
here.
And in the fall, let's see where the movement takes us. But we are building a movement to share stories and to cultivate empathy and learning and understanding through our salons and dinners and retreats and storytelling programs.
That's so inspiring and impressive, because I think overseas, whatsoever, right? Vietnamese, overseas Chinese. There's so many of us, and then again, same but different. There are so many minor different experiences in life. But you have a common understanding already, right? You have a joint understanding, and this is our foundation.
Thank you. What are some common misunderstandings that Western brands have when entering Asian markets? And also vice versa, what do some Asian brands sometimes misunderstand about global audiences?
Yeah, good question. I think also I can maybe explain this without calling out any brands, but cultural understandings from colleagues or from mentalities, I think. If you think about it, the two extremes, like German and Chinese. Germans or Western people are more direct, like very constructive feedback, but maybe also seen as criticism from a Chinese perspective. But also with the mind, it's like, I want you to be better. That's why I don't want to go around the corner, but like I go straight to the point. So I don't waste your time. You don't waste my time.
Well, nice. So being very direct, kind of
very direct, but always non-personal. Always like with regards to the content, with regards, okay, how can we adjust? How can we better this up? But this would be seen as insult in China, oftentimes. To call out like mistakes, or to call out like, oh, this you could have done better, actually.
Oh, wow. So how do you do that in a tactful and constructive feedback kind of way?
Usually not in a big meeting round. It's more like one-on-ones, or you find time to take out this person, take him to the side, let him know. But never in a big round of people, because the face, I think
say face, right?
Say face. I think it's in Vietnamese also. In German, you don't even have a proper word. You have to just describe it roughly what you mean, but like in Chinese, say with the face. And I think this is important. You have to understand this, and usually you say, yeah, let's try, and then nothing happens, but you have to understand the differences, the nuances.
Well, so for you being also German, when you first moved to Shanghai, was it easy to embrace that mindset, or you find yourself being too direct sometimes?
Yeah, for sure, especially in the beginning. But of course, you learn with time, and also you adapt, right? I understand both sides, and I think that's why we are also so important as translators. The Chinese teams, they're afraid, or they don't have the connection to the German teams, so they come to you. They come to us to share what's their problem is. For example, now we just had the meeting. We had colleagues here in Vietnam. That's why I'm here, right? We had colleagues flying over from Germany, colleagues flying over from Korea.
Nice.
And even I'm not speaking Korean, but they were very fast in sharing their experiences, similar issues we have in Asia. And also then it's my job to translate this, or to wrap it up and deliver it to Germany.
Translate. Cultural translator.
Exactly.
Okay, nice. Cool. All right, before we wrap up, we have some fun rapid fire questions. The idea is to just think about the first answer to come to mind, not think too much about it.
Yeah.
I have a whole list of like fun rapid fire questions. Try to pick some good ones for you.
Let's go.
Dumpling or bratwurst?
That's it. Dumplings, for sure. Dumplings.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love dumplings too, and in Vietnamese we say hakao. It's like really good.
Hakao.
Yeah, hakao.
Hakao. It's dim sum, isn't it?
Dim sum.
It's
yeah.
like sha.
Yeah.
Sha jiao,
Well, we do
Yeah,
have a lot of
it's like
Chinese.
Cantonese. It's more like
Yeah,
closer to Cantonese.
we have a lot of Cantonese words in our language.
For sure.
More, which is funny, the questions. Pokemon or Bundesliga?
That's a tough one. Yeah, either or, I have to choose one.
Yeah.
I grew up with
Okay.
Pokemon, but also with football. Oh, this is tough. That's a split in between, actually.
Yeah, between, yeah.
On the weekend, Bundesliga. On the weekdays, Pokemon.
Okay, gaming, sports, or anime? Which fandom is the most powerful?
And a rapid fire question. Like,
No, you just pick one.
I have to
Oh, okay.
explain myself.
So, okay, cool. Okay, maybe something different. So, one fictional world you live in for a year.
What? Second?
One fictional world you lived.
Fictional world.
Yeah, you lived in for a year.
The Zelda world, actually. The open world of Zelda.
Open wallet.
Yeah.
What's that?
Open world is it's basically a Switch game, and then
Nice.
you can explore everything of it. And I like the beauty. Final Fantasy I like too, from graphic perspective. But Zelda, I think. In the Zelda
Oh,
world, yeah.
is that, oh yeah, I think I do know. I just
Yeah.
haven't played it yet. Okay, just two more. Something very German about you that surprises people.
I like to use some very traditional German proverbs, where sometimes even our generation of fathers will use. So it's like, oh my, you sound so old. But yeah, I love
I love it.
using these proverbs because
Wow.
always it's like more like a joking with a like twink as well. Yeah, Feste feiern, wie sie fallen. Like you gotta celebrate the festivities how they come along. Something like this. I love because I think they make so much sense and they are very catchy. Yeah.
Nice. So can you say something in German, like just one example of the proverb?
Or
Yeah.
Übung macht den Meister. It's like practice makes perfect.
Oh.
They're all very logical, but if you
Nice.
hear this, usually it's like your parents tell you this and you're like so annoyed usually if they say something.
Can you say it again?
Übung macht den Meister.
Üben macht den Meister.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to practice again and
I love it. It's literally so meta.
Yeah.
You say the word practice make perfect in German, like over and over again. That's funny. Okay, cool. Okay, one more. Okay. If your life were a movie, what's the title?
The Adventures of a Hometown Foreigner and Global Citizen. I like this combination too. It's like little made in Germany, designed by China.
Yeah.
This
So
Hometown
now-
Foreigner
Yeah.
and Global Citizen. I think this is a
Love
perfect.
it. Wow.
All right.
I'm gonna steal yours. I'm gonna use the same. No, we can share it.
Maybe it's something
Yeah.
if you share it, it does get less. It's like, oh no, that's what I
No.
also saw it somewhere. Right? It's like not my original finding. Yeah. So sure.
Well, thank you, Martin, for coming here today. So before we wrap up our recording, our conversation today, I want to ask, so as a cultural bridge builder that you are, what do you think about building bridges and communities for the future? Right. What kind of bridges do you hope to be more of yourself as a leader? And also, what kind of bridges do you want to see being built more? Yeah.
This is a good wrap-up question. Bridges, whatever bridges I like to build or I like to help to build, should be always leading to platforms. Let it be events, let it be experiences that can elevate people. Right. I see it as at work. It's at the same. Like I don't want to be directly saying, hey, you got to do it like this. But I want to put you in the position, in the right spot, connect you with the right teams, the right expert to make things happen. If you need support to figure out, let me know. I'm happy to step in. But actually, I'm trying to elevate you so you can figure out yourself. Like also to create spaces where failure can happen. This German proverb, like you learn from mistakes, right? So you, especially in a younger age, when you started, you have to like fall down, wake up again, and then you learn from the process. And so I think something like this is important for me. To then bridges, yeah, at the one hand, but they always should lead to some safe space where growth can happen.
Amazing. So bridges to support each other, essentially. Yeah.
Again, right? You have again this bridge analogy to say, more concrete you build, the more piers you have, the more solid this bridge is. So even if you do a mistake we're standing on like really solid foundation, and it's up to us to create the solid foundation. So younger generations or people who come along, they can step up, follow our path, but also find their own path. So it's not a one-way street bridge, but hey, there's another intersection going to different spaces and places and where we don't have no idea of.
Wow,
so we can follow them.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not
My God.
one-way street.
Yeah. And do it together. Who knows, like, if we are collectively co-creating that new place together, that new bridge. Who knows where it could take us?
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that's what we need to do now, actually.
Preach.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Amazing. Where can people find you? Where can people find you if you want to follow you? Or
Follow
you? Yeah.
the typical, I think, LinkedIn, Instagram. I can share some of my accounts, but yeah, this is probably
It's just Martin Zhang.
Martin Zhang. I think actually LinkedIn is, I think, Django Unchained, which is from the Tarantino movie, like Django Unchained, but it's now my surname, Chango.
Yeah.
It's my nickname, Django Unchained. Yeah. But yeah,
Nice.
it's
I love the cover photo, like the fusion.
exactly. It's a fusion of, it's a trunk, right? Trunks and some golden, but for me, it's also like the fusion of two worlds.
Yeah.
At least, so like it's all intertwined somehow,
Yeah.
and also gives the idea of 1 + 1 is bigger than just
Correct.
2.
It's
yeah.
10.
Yeah, it's 10. It's 10 Nexus.
Exactly. So thank you so much. So let's 10x together. Let's fuse and like 10x exponentially.
Yeah,
100,000x.
times 10. Yeah.
Very excited for this new chapter together. For you being Saigon more often, but also love to come visit Shanghai again, and Germany, Hamburg. Yeah. So
It's amazing, right? To say where do we see it next, and you have like a list of so many cities, so many continents. Yeah.
just the beginning, and it's very exciting to have all the support. I feel very honored, and also I feel very grateful to be able to share everyone's stories in the
Absolutely.
community.
Yeah.
Other community members, other different advisors and thought leaders we have in this space. Yeah. So, thank you again for coming here, and let's go.
Let's go. Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. Awesome.